Hi guys, Asmo here, and today I have for you an update after day one of playing Elemental Spears Amazon, which is a very unpopular archetype because some people even rage quit trying to play this. That's how terrible it was early on, but I made it work, and I'm here to show you how I made it work and how I got as, I think, first spear Amazon player to maps. I was there before Tai, before Goratha, before a lot of other people who were playing. I checked PoE Ninja and I was the first person to maps, the first person to that level. I forgot that I had my profile on public, so I made it on private, so I made it now public so that people can view it as well. But I'm gonna show you everything so you don't have to go and check yourself. I'm gonna explain the build, how I leveled, how you should level in the early game, what to pay attention to. I'm gonna talk about all of the skill gems, all of the passives, and all of the gear. And I'm saying this a second time because I just recorded it while being muted. That's how tired I am after today. But I'm gonna do it because a lot of people are struggling, and understandably, because GGG released a weapon archetype that uses a one-handed weapon that does basically 60 damage of the every other build, and good luck, enjoy the game. You just have less damage than everyone else, and that's it. Nothing to compensate for that. So that's basically the archetype, but I'm gonna show you how you can actually make it work. And let's start with the skill gems. So early on, you wanna start with Explosive Spear. Let me grab a skill gem first so I can show you on this screen here. Whirling Slash, you don't really want to try it. Okay, let me sell this, okay? Let me make some honest money, honest 2 exalts, because we're struggling over here. We found some unique, terrible spear. Don't use this, by the way. This is just terrible. Just buy any rare weapon for 1 exalt or whatever if you have some money lying around. But you can completely get by crafting your own stuff. But yeah, so the Explosive Spear early on is pretty good. It's probably the only ability that does like actual damage. Okay, let's go on D&D because people are just gonna spam me. So the Explosive Spear is great. It does a good amount of damage. You wanna use Overabundance so that you can throw 2 of them. And then you also want to use a Fire Infusion early on. Those are decent supports for that. And then you can also rely on Spear Stab or Spear Throw. I started with Frost Bomb, Flame Wall, and Spear Throw, and then later added Explosive Spear. The Spear Stab is gonna be, the basic attack is gonna have the most single target damage in the beginning. You can also focus on that, and you can use with it Martial Tempo and, for example, Lightning Infusion or Rage. Out of the early gems, you can, for example, get Explosive Spear and Disengage, and then use a Parry and Disengage to get some Frenzy charges for your Explosive Spear and clear that way. That's another way to do it. But you are gonna struggle a little bit early on, and it's not gonna do that much damage unless you find some flat damage on gloves, flat damage on rings like iron rings or something like that, and some flat damage on a weapon. I was very unlucky and couldn't find any of that early on, but if you find any, it's gonna be definitely easier. So Explosive Spear early on. After Explosive Spear and Disengage, which you should be using Disengage, it's very good. It's very good mobility. It has very low cooldown. You basically tag monsters, and this ability allows you to also make sure that you're keeping up the synergies between ranged and melee. So you have different passives and supports that allow you to do more damage in melee if you did some projectile damage, and more projectile damage if you did some melee damage. And this, just like running around the map and just tagging one monster with it while moving, allows you to keep up this for 8 seconds. So you only need to do melee or projectile every 8 seconds to keep all of that up, which is very, very easy to do. So after Disengage and Explosive Spear, in the second row, Rake is good, but the problem with Rake is that if you're committing to bleed, and if you're gonna go Rake and Blood Hand and Herald of Blood, all of those skills are really good, but the problem is that you are relying on having a physical weapon. If you roll a bunch of elemental damage on your rings, on your gloves, on your weapon, it's not gonna benefit you that much. So it's actually gonna be weaker than, like, if you committed to elemental, you're gonna benefit from that less, because you're not doing things like exposure, you're not doing like others, you're not benefiting from the ailments the same way. Like it's not the same, right? It's it's much harder to level with that, in my opinion, consistently. If you get lucky, if you get good weapons, then it's great. But if you don't, you're gonna struggle a little bit. And there were people like, I saw like Ali, I think, quit in Act 2, just like rage quit completely because like she thought it's like impossible to play this archetype. Like she had a very, very bad time with it. I saw Tai struggling. Like there's a reason why I got to maps before like Tai, before Goratha and people like that, because I played simply something that I think was easier to actually be successful with. So that's why I'm sharing this with you, so that you know what is easier. So what is easier? Lightning Spear. Spear Field does negative damage. Don't use that. Fangs of Frost is melee. Like it's all right damage, but it's melee, you can't really clear with that. And Lightning Spear is very, very nice for clear early. So you throw a couple of explosive spears and then you throw some lightning spears. It is relatively slow and you have to aim properly, but it is a very nice skill. It is very nice clearing with it, and it does a decent damage. And make sure that you have things like Martial Tempo and Lightning Infusion in it early. And so Martial Tempo, Lightning Infusion in your Lightning Spear, and then Explosive Spear with Overabundance and Fire Infusion, and that's gonna carry you to level 14. And at level 14 you get Stormlance. Stormlance is very nice. It has nice single target damage, and until we get Primal Strikes we have to rely on it. So when I get Stormlance, I swapped the skill gems from Lightning Spear into Stormlance, so that would be Martial Tempo and Lightning Infusion, and then the combo looked like that. I threw Explosive Spear, and then I threw basically 3 Stormlances on the same spot, and then as soon as I throw the third one, then the Explosive Spear detonates and they all explode and they all trigger like this whole amount of like zapping and exploding at the same time. So you throw actually the Explosive Spear first and then the Stormlance in the same spot, and they explode and just kill anything. Good AoE. It's good for clearing like a pack of like just a clump of monsters. You gather them together, you kill them all together as they're chasing you, right? And then you move on. And same for bossing. So you can do damage from range. Unfortunately, it is a little bit delayed damage, so monsters can get out of that, but it is still okay to clear until you get the Primal Strikes. Once you get Primal Strikes, we swap again. By the way, Barrage, don't bother with it. Rapid Assault, don't bother with it unless you're going bleed. Glacial Lance is a very good skill, but it doesn't have enough like Glacial. I think Glacial Lance Fangs of Frost can work. It can definitely work. The Glacial Lance coverage is amazing. The skill is really, really good mechanically, but you would need you need enough damage. You need some, ideally also some sorts of frenzy charges, which with Glacial Lance you can actually get because you're freezing, right? If you're playing Fangs of Frost Glacial Lance, then the what's it called? The aura that gives you frenzy charges, right? The buff that gives you frenzy charges actually works with that very well. But I did not go that route, but I think you could. But I went for something that does much more single target damage, which is the Primal Strikes. So Primal Strikes is basically like 3 strikes. And what happens is if the target has shock on it, they're going to also release spirits. The first strike is going to release a bunch of spirits, the second one and the third one is going to release a huge amount of spirits. And these I think can shotgun as far as I know, because, well, at least that's what it seemed like, because when I was hitting the giant bosses like the Torgul or whatever, like in the Spires of the Shar, he was taking huge amount of damage from these spirits, like because he has like a massive hitbox. So it does very good single target damage, and you combine it with Lightning Spear. So again, as soon as I got the Primal Strikes, I removed the Stormlance and back into Lightning Spear with the Martial Tempo and the Lightning Infusion. And whenever you get the Jeweler's Orb, you want to put Conduction into it, right? So you want to play Martial Tempo, Lightning Infusion, and Conduction in your Lightning Spear. And despite the fact that it has 100% more chance to shock, you need even more chance to shock, because that's how shit your damage is, to guarantee shocking relatively consistently. So you can throw a couple of these, and then you can just go Primal Strikes, 1, 2, 3. And that's going to apply also Lightning Exposure, and then it's going to be easier to apply in the next shock, and then 1, 2, 3 again with this. And that's your rotation. So you just basically alternate Lightning Spear and then spam Primal Strikes whenever there is shock on the target. It's gonna do really good single target damage. All the bosses are relatively easy with this. I had a really good time with this combo, and it was very, very nice. And also it works a little bit while clearing, right? right? The primal strikes also has some AoE, and you can do this like once every 8 seconds, and it's gonna be very, very nice. So either primal strikes or tapping the monsters with disengage once every 8 seconds, and then the lightning spear has very, very nice clear. But unfortunately, by default, it's very slow. But I'll show you what we're doing on the passive skill tree later to make it this fast. So after the lightning spear, so we're still using sometimes explosive spear. Like sometimes you'll have like lightning resistance monsters, or you can like preload a boss. So explosive spear is still useful. After that, we have the Thunder's Leap. So Thunder's Leap is basically this ability. It's a really, really nice jump. Very, very useful. You always need to have it, and it allows you to move very quickly. You can like dodge roll, disengage, dodge roll, Thunder's Leap, dodge roll, disengage, dodge roll, Thunder's Leap, and you can just move like that around the map, and it's very, very nice, very, very mobile character. Then we have our auras, our buffs or reservations that we're running are Herald of Thunder with Innervate, a magnified effect, and persistence. Persistence is here for the innervate duration, so that gives you more damage. And because of this extra shock chance, which is coming from the conduction early on, and then later just like having the lightning spear with 100% more chance to shock, we are very consistently proccing the Herald of Thunder, and it works very well in conjunction with lightning spear for very good clear. It feels really, really nice. And a Wind Dancer as well. Until you find a good beast, you want to use Wind Dancer, and then later when you get extra spirit, you use both of them. And the companion is amazing. The companion is very, very powerful. I got haste aura and all damage shocks, but even if I had like some random garbage, I would still want to use it because the passives are actually insane for this. I'm gonna show you later why. But the one that I managed to find was haste aura and all damage shocks. I can show you the damage. So I have 16.4 on primal strikes, right? Sorry, 18.4, 18,400. Why did it just, it lowered? You see the guy walked away, right? So 18 and then 16, 15, like the damage is insane. So 18.4, and then when I remove the haste aura from this guy, 15.1, right? So this is like, I don't know, 20% damage or something. A really, really nice aura. And also when he's in your presence, you get all the damage from the passive tree. And then the benefit also of all damage shocks is that whenever I apply shock with my lightning spear and then consume it with the third primal strike, he's gonna hit the target and apply shock, and I can just go primal strike again, and then he's gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it again. So he can actually apply the shock for me. I don't actually have to lightning spear all the time. So that is very, very useful. Very random to get. You're not gonna necessarily get that. Get whatever you want. Like any non-selfish modifiers are good. Any auras like physical aura, haste aura, any defensive auras that heal your energy shield, anything is good. Like any non-selfish things, any debuffs that he's gonna apply to enemies, like for example some kind of elemental ground could be also good. Like shocked ground could be maybe good. Like there's lots of different things that you can use on this that will be valuable, but it's generally like the auras and stuff like that that are going to buff you. That's going to be the most important. And the last skill that I have here is the Spear of Solaris. Spear of Solaris is mostly just used like an extra single target thing. Sometimes if I have it charged up, I'll drop it on an essence before opening an essence. Immobile bosses will take some damage from it, so it's very nice for like just additional single target damage. I have in the Spear of Solaris Execute and Hourglass, and I can put something else. I still haven't sorted out fully my support, so I'm gonna do that later, but this is basically what I leveled with. And so now let's look at the passives, which are gonna explain to you why I'm attacking so fast. I knew immediately that this is gonna feel like poo-poo because it's 50% attack speed on all of these abilities that are like so bad. So I knew that I'm gonna have to invest in attack speed, so immediately from the very beginning I was investing in attack speed. So I got the attack speed here, and then we got these stock and leap nodes, And then I went for the generic damage because we don't want to commit to just projectile or just melee. We want to pick passives that benefit both of them at the same time because we're going to be doing damage with both and alternate them. So the elemental attack damage here is very good. Some pen and AoE also very good. Then I went for the movement speed from escape velocity with evasion. You need some defense. Then I went for catalysis and also for these nodes, which gives you chance to shock, very important. Plus this extra damage. If you have like some flat cold and flat fire, that's going to add up to like 45% increased damage, which is very, very strong. Then these nodes, which is movement speed and maim and just attack damage. And then pathing to acceleration for movement speed and skill speed, as well as dance with death. Because as soon as I could, I ditched the buckler, the shitty buckler that has 20% block and terrible stats, and it is virtually useless. I see like Tai doing like rake skill cancelling to like move a little bit faster. It moves you a little bit faster, I guess, at the cost of some mana and RSI, but I'm using Dance with Death and doing just way more damage. Like the attack speed with this, the skill speed is so much better, and it affects also your mobility. Like all of your skills and everything you're doing is basically faster, and it feels much better with this. So after Dance with Death, I path to the bottom cluster here for the spears and also for the Falcon Dive. So this gives you like a lot of attack speed. There's like 10% attack speed. This is 9% attack speed. This thing gives you like 4 to 5% attack speed early on. You have lots of attack speed here. Then you also have, where is also attack speed? I think that's the beginning attack speed. And then of course we are pathing for the companion staff. Before the companion staff, you can also pick up Combing Calamity, which is like 50% increased lightning damage. This is also like 12% increased damage each. But now let's go to the juicy staff, which is the Inspiring Ally. So this makes it so that all the bonuses to or increases and reductions to your companion damage apply to you. And we have here 12%, 12%, 12%, 12%, and here 12%, and there's also here 12%. So whenever you pick up this node and your ally is next to you, your companion is next to you, which happens like anytime you're bossing or killing a rare, like as soon as you're going into melee to do your damage with primal strikes, this guy catches up with you, right? So you get all of this damage and all of these increases, which each of these are basically 20% increased damage. So accounting for the fact that you also have to take this for them to apply to you fully, that is about 17% increased damage per each of these nodes. Incredibly efficient. I had to pick these for the reservation. They're very nice as well. It's really good that we have it. And after that, I picked up some evasion, crit chance, because we're scaling crit. So we have crit chance and crit multi with the attributes. Attributes are very important early on. Shock magnitude, increased damage to enemies that have ailments on them, and some extra attributes for the requirements. And then you're gonna thank me later. From the Act 3, pick the permanent buff that is stun threshold, okay? Like increased stun threshold. Pick the first one, stun threshold, because you cannot get easy access to that. There is like stun threshold if you haven't been stunned recently, but what if you have, right? Stun threshold is very hard to get on this class. I would definitely pick that from the permanent buff. The second permanent buff, pick the 5 to all attributes, in my opinion. And then from passive tree, as soon as you like get to Act 3 or something and you start getting frozen, you see like ignites dealing damage to you, you get shocked or whatever, pick these two nodes. Reduce durations of ailments, and then this together gives you 55% increased elemental ailment threshold. This is gonna make your leveling so much smoother. You're not gonna get frozen, shocked, and ignited all the time. Like, this is a way bigger difference than you think. I 100% guarantee this is going to be worth when you pick it. Otherwise, you're going to just keep dying non-stop if you don't have any other way of dealing with ailments. So this is actually very, very important. And that's basically it for now. Later on, there is option to pick up also this dexterity and attack speed to scale that. There are options to also path toward here for this attack speed with one-handed weapons and accuracy, penetration, crit here, companion nodes, pinpoint shot. What else is there? Of course, the crit scaling here. There is more crit here. So there's a bunch of crit stuff, maybe the penetration here if necessary early on, and that's basically it. From the ascendancies, I picked first the critical strike, which is just a bunch of crit early damage. Then second, I picked the stalking panther. That gave me about 10% more chance to evade, which was very, very strong because I had like a shitty chest. And then I picked the penetrate, which basically you pick it if you have some accuracy, like flat accuracy, like +2 accuracy rating on your weapon. And that's going to give you extra flat damage. And it gave me a decent chunk of damage as well on the tooltip. I looked at the tooltip when I picked it. I was very happy with it. So that's it for the passives. Now when it comes to the gear, it's very, very simple. Your number one priority by far is the spear. So always look for upgrades for a spear, save your currency and only use it basically on the spear unless you already have a good one and you have some spare currency. Then you can like maybe use something on gloves or rings. Like at least, you know, augments and transmits, you can always do that, but like regals and exalts are very important to keep them for the weapon early on. Pick your, like, save your best rune for that as well. You can 3-to-1 runes, so as soon as in Act 3 as you unlock the reforging bench, you can grab your runes and lesser iron rune, for example, you can reforge them and get the regular iron rune, right? So instead of having 15% increased physical damage, you get 20, right? And then later on you get 25 from 3 regular ones. So you can reforge your runes to get to more damage. And the most important thing on the weapon will be like increased physical and flat physical, and then like flat elemental. Accuracy is also good, +2 levels is good. Attack speed, of course, attack speed is very, very important. This weapon has no attack speed, and this is how fast I attack with this skill. Like if you equip the skill early on, it's gonna be like, ugh, like super slow. But like later on when you pick up all of that, if I have like a weapon that has also like 1.8 attack speed, it will be even faster. So attack speed is very, very important on weapon as well. Then the sources of damage other than that are like gloves. My gloves have attack speed and some dexterity, which gives me accuracy, which gives me extra crit. So if you look at my damage, 18.4, right? If I take off my gloves, 16.5, right? Huge amount of damage. If I take off my rings, again, 18.4, I take off my rings, 17, right? So this is a huge amount of damage. The flat damage on the rings, flat damage and attack speed on the gloves, very important. Your most important pieces of gear, because if you don't get it, your damage is gonna suck. And then of course, movement speed on boots, as much attributes and resistances in life everywhere else basically, and stack evasion, right? You want as much evasion on gloves, helmet and boots primarily, and then chest is like whatever. Chest is very flexible slot. You can use a unique chest, you can use a lot of different things, you can like get a lot of life and resistances on it. And that is basically it. That is the setup. The character is actually very fun to play. The people that gave up on it basically were like, I don't know, I think you can do much better if you know already what to do. Like, I think if you watch this video and then try and you already know like what skills to use, and you're not gonna like spend time experimenting with fucking twister, whirling, slash, like random stuff early on, you're gonna have a much better time. Why did this change order? These skills literally changed order. What? They were in a different order. They're alphabetical now. But before it was Spear Field here, and then Lightning Spear, and then Fangs of Frost, and then Rake. That's funny, okay. So I guess they made a patch to quickly change everything to be alphabetical. All of these skills are in a different place now. That's funny. But yeah, that's basically the leveling setup. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of footage so you can see how the character plays, so you can see if you like this or not. I really like this playstyle. I think it's going to be very fun when we scale this character higher. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Should I do it right away? Fuck it. Hey, we got some. That's a boss. That's a boss. That's some fucking single target damage. And I'm not like, my supports can be so much better as well. When I move up in tiers, I need to like think about supports. I just can't be bothered, just wanna kinda blast. It has to be a this thing, yeah. Shrine, or whatever it's called. Rarity. Pack size res. Pack size. Okay, let's do pack size. Magic monsters, pack size. Let's not do more res. Expedition tablet. Another map.